Hi there, it's Andrea Dion again, Resiliency Coordinator for Treaty 6. I would just like to remind you all that Wednesdays, our theme for our video series, is about culture. Now, culture involves so much more than just the elders and traditional knowledge, but we're looking at dancing, arts and crafts, prayer, and any ways that you think that is culturally appropriate in your community. So looking forward to working with you and seeing you online. Oistas.
Okay, Nataniko Itsoyanski Pui Nimtutu Pikani. Hello, my name is Jaron Weaselbear and my traditional Blackfoot name is Singing in the Water. I come from the Pikani Nation, located in southern Alberta, part of the Six Gates Itapi Blackfoot Confederacy, and I'm here to do, I guess, a cultural component for the youth mentorship program and for Ever Active Schools. The song we're gonna sing right now, it's just we call it a flag song, and it comes from our Pikani Nation. And every reserve they have a flag song. They have a song that's sung to on. They sing it to honor their flags. So that was just a quick version of the flag song. There's a lot of other songs out there that I know and I could sing, but we'll probably be making another video on that. So just to give you a quick version of that, and thank you for your time, and thank you, Matt, and everything like that, for inviting me to do these little videos for you. Again, hey. I guess for myself, I just want to start off to talk about my Blackfoot name and what it means. Soyanskipui in Blackfoot, that means singing in the water. And that to me is, I guess I hold high respect to that name because it was given to me by my great grandmother. And with the Blackfoot name, with any First Nations, a lot of First Nations people have Blackfoot names or Indian names, whatever they call them. But for me, I guess the story behind that is when it was given to me, it was my great grandmother. She basically held me as a baby in front of my parents and told them, this boy's going to be a good singer. He's going to know how to memorize songs good. So, lo and behold, I started singing when I was probably 6 years old, and I'm 42 years old right now, and I maintained that out throughout my life. And the culture piece of my life was, it was my life because that's what I knew all through my life. My late father was, very instrumental on the reserve with singing. He used to be a part of sacred societies. One of them was called the Brave Dogs. He was a leader. And anytime they needed him, they needed singing on our reserve and the Pikani Nation, they would call on my father. And a lot of the times, I would be with him to go out and sing. And he was the one that taught me a lot of what I know today. And with the smudge and the prayers today, I have a lot of respect for it, I guess, because it took me out of a lot of situations that, I wasn't proud to be in. And being a former addict of alcohol and all that bad stuff, I took upon it one day in my life just to say, hey, it's about time I grow up and start, thinking about my children, thinking about my wife, and trying to make a good home for them. So for me, it was going back to this way of life right here. Tobacco is basically one of the first gifts that were given to the First Nations people. So, whenever this is my little tobacco here that I got, and it's pipe tobacco. And, they do use it in ceremonies. A lot of the times, you go up to the mountains, and that's where it's harvested and picked. But tobacco is a lot of uses for tobacco is when you're gonna approach an elder for prayers, for guidance, for strength, whatever it may be, give you knowledge. Tobacco is one of the things we always bring to the elders, and we tell them, hey, this is what we're looking for, this is what we're seeking. So we always bring this tobacco and offer it to them so that they give you good blessings. And they a lot of the times the elders would almost say it's like money. But for me, throughout my life, I lost a little bit of wouldn't say lost, I just kind of put it aside as a little bit of my culture, especially the dancing aspect of my life. It's when I put it away when I was 18 years old. But I started dancing just this year again, and you could see some of this stuff up here. That's my little boys, and he's the one that's dances too with me. So for me, I guess it's just trying to maintain a positive cultural life and maintain our Blackfoot culture. But going back to tobacco too, and whenever you harvest, say you're going out berry picking, hunting, willows, teepee poles, pegs, buttons, whatever it may be, it's always a good idea to have your tobacco, because elders, from my understanding, is in order for things to go right, you always pray. You always pray to put down your tobacco and give back to Mother Earth, and talk to Mother Earth and let her know, this is what I'm going to do with what I'm taking, and here's something back, just to give back to Mother Earth, and let her know, this is what you're going to be doing, and you're going to use it in a proper way. It's not always good to be, I guess, using it for money, selling it, whatever, but it's always good to use it for yourself, or go out and, maybe there's somebody on your reserve that, can't go out and harvest for themselves. So, young people out there, I always encourage you, go out there and you could do the work for them. For myself, I don't come in saying I know everything about culture, because I don't. I'm still learning, I'm still young, and I still have a lot to learn. But from my late father, I wish he was still here today, but he isn't. But he taught me quite a bit, at least the basics, and that's what I'm here to do, is just give you guys a little basic understanding of how I used to smudge and the Blackfoot way. And because there is a lot of different cultures out there, different prayers, different ways of praying, smudging. To me, it's just using it in a proper way for yourself, to better yourself, better your families, whatever it may be. So right here I have my little smudge kit, if you want to call it. I have my braid of sweetgrass here, and that, a lot of the times they harvest it out too, and when they do harvest and they braid it into three, one of the things that was taught to me was these three braids here, what they represent is Mother Earth, the sky, and then probably the people that are walking on Earth. A lot of the times that's why it's braided in three. And what I like to use too is sweet pine. This is a bag of sweet pine right here, and when you harvest sweet pine, you go up into the mountains, and that's where you harvest all the sweet pine, and you get a lot of the teepee poles, pegs, buttons, the traditional roots, the traditional medicines are all found up in there. And to my understanding, in our Blackfoot way, it was always the women. The women were the ones that went up and they did all the harvesting, did all that stuff, because of how powerful the women was. The women had a lot of powers. To me, the elders would always say, because they could give life. That's what I was taught. And for me, you know, I hold a lot of respect for the women folk out there, and you know, that's what us young men have to get back to, is respecting them as such, and getting back to our traditional ways would be key, you know, because I do know we live in two worlds, you know, we do live in that fast pace, you know, education, everything like that, and you know, and we do have to maintain our culture. Our culture is there for us, and our ancestors put it there for us to maintain and keep going and keep those prayers going, because you know, for me, that's what really helped me, and it still helps me today, because I smudge every day. I try to teach my children, you know, with my home here, sitting in my home, I bless my home, and you know, and try and maintain that balance, you know, and because like our elders tell us, some days it's good to just slow down and take a few steps back, and you know, just pray for what you need, and you know, never mind about the fast-paced life out there, and you know, take care of yourself, taking care of yourself, and you know, so that you could take care of your family, take care of your children, you know, whatever it may be. So that's what I like to use this smudge and prayers for. For me, it's an everyday thing. Every day I wake up, I try and pray. When I go to bed, you know, I pray too at the same time, and light my smudge, so that it, you know, it gives off that good aroma, good scent in your house, and it makes you feel better. It makes you feel, you know, protected, because what I was taught, when you do burn that smudge and that smoke is rising from your smudge bowl there, and your prayers, you're saying your prayers, your words are going up to Creator, to God, whoever, whatever you may call him too. But you know, and another way too is, for me, I lost my father a few years ago, about probably, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, and you know, it's tragic happening in the same year, basically the same year I lost my sister. You know, both, one, you know, my dad had diabetes, he lost him to a massive heart attack. My sister had a sickness called lupus, and she was addicted to drugs, and it was an overdose. So you know, for me, it was basically, that's how I communicate with them nowadays, is, you know, through the smudge, you know, talking to them every day and asking them for guidance, asking them to protect my family, to protect me, and you know, just to maintain my strength and to keep on going, so that I don't fall back into my old ways of addictions, and you know, going back to being selfish, and you know, not being humble. You know, I like to try and be humble nowadays, and help people out, whatever it may be, help my reserve out. And you know, for me, that's the culture part of it. That's, you know, about love, respect, you know, being humble, and trying to maintain these certain things that were given to us by our ancestors. So that was just a quick version of the flag song. You know, there's, you know, a lot of other songs out there that I know and I could sing, but you know, we'll probably be making another video on that. So just to give you a quick version of that, and thank you for your time, and you know, thank you, Matt, and everything like that, for inviting me to do these little videos for you. Again, hey.